Okay, looks like it's about 9 o'clock, so morning, folks. Welcome to the briefing on Sunday the 7th. Another lovely sunny day looking out the window here in Winchester. You can see the reason for that is this high pressure that's currently sat out just to the west of us, bringing in a very light northerly flow. It is very, very light today. Hardly any wind at all at times, and I think if the wind goes in sort of various directions, it's just because this thermal is dragging it around. Over the next 24, 48 hours, this will slowly settle over us, and giving sort of very settled conditions, certainly for the next few days. Pressure dropped a millibar from yesterday, so 1,027 just over Lasham at the moment, but say very slack air mass. And the TAFs, as you would expect, fairly short. 353 knots, so very light, northerly on the ground, and cab okay, no cloud below 5,000 feet, and pretty much everywhere. South of Birmingham's giving the same, really, in their forecast. Upper winds, central of the country, just sort of light westerly, northwesterly, and very light. You can see in there, and you can see that on the satellite picture. There's things slowly moving and sinking southeasterly. In the channel, obviously, a little bit like yesterday, there's more of an easterly flow, but much less than yesterday, sort of 5 to 10 knots over northern France. So really quite a slack area over us for all of today. You can see you can see this cloud just sinking slowly down to the southeast. There's bits of upper cloud in places, but very, very thin. Nothing really on the infrared that shows up. That's going to stop the sort of sun warming the ground up fairly quickly. And in terms of temperature, it's about the same currently as it was this time yesterday, building quite nicely. Perhaps a degree warmer than yesterday, maybe 2 degrees warmer than yesterday, 25, 26 degrees at best down in the southeast. Late afternoon, and tomorrow looks like it's going to be another couple of degrees warmer than that, so it's building the heat as the week goes on. Dew points, again, I'm fair 2 to 3 degrees yesterday. They're not going to go down as far today. Currently, dew points are about a degree more than they were yesterday, about 9 degrees, I think, down to about 6. But you're still looking at the ascent, not really going to see any cumulus, or little chance of cumulus, unless you're much further north or into some parts of East Anglia, possibly. So that's the ascent for round here this afternoon. I've got 4 ascents to look at, just give you a flavour of what I think is going to happen. 26 degrees around here, follow the line up, and it's talking about 5,000 foot plus blue thermals, because if you look at the dew points, if they're down around here somewhere, the lines don't merge on the right side of the red line. Further north, slightly lower, you can see the lines a little bit closer together, about 5,000 feet, but the temperature might be a little bit cooler further north. So I suspect maybe not quite as high further north, around the north of Buckingham, Northampton area. I think probably 4,500 to 5,000 feet would be, as best as it's going to get. And I had a quick look at the 2 actual ascents. They don't do a Hurstmansow at the moment, whether they've stopped doing that, and they don't do a Lark Hill during the weekends, only in midweek. So The Nottingham Ascent, which is midnight, shows an inversion about 4 to 4 to the 1 at about 6,000 feet. Obviously, won't take long to break that. 16 degrees, 17 degrees will break that to start getting some thermal activity. 19, 20 degrees will take it up to 4,500 feet. If we get to 26, it'll go, looking at the lines, it'll go to about 1,800 meters. But there are evidence that that'll could pin the thermals down at about 4,500 to 5,000 feet for quite a time. The Camborne one doesn't show a strong inversion; it just shows fairly stable air all the way up. So it'll just be temperature driven. Those are not representative of what we got around here, but it just gives you a flavour of the fact that the air is fairly stable. And this requires temperature to really get things going. I think what both Top Meteo and SkySight are showing in terms of thermal heights might be a tad optimistic, maybe a couple hundred meters too much. So Top Meteo in terms of cloud, that's 11 o'clock, local blue anywhere south of Birmingham, some cumulus in East Anglia, and even move that through till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, still blue, some cumulus in East Anglia and Kent. Then you start to see bits of cumulus around here. So could well be that those lines have come a bit closer together and the dew points are slightly higher to the north, maybe see some cumulus. Thermal heights, if we look at sort of 11 o'clock onwards, I think it's going to be at least 11 o'clock before it starts to mix up properly, and you get anything usable more like about midday. They're showing by midday sort of 1,500 meters for 4,500 feet around Lasham. I think that may be a tad optimistic. I think maybe 1, 2 o'clock it gets to those sort of heights. And then it shows by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 1,900 meters, 2,000 meters, 6,000 feet. I think possibly take 1,000 feet off that. 5,000 feet, I think, is more realistic. Blue thermals, and again, it should keep going till certainly 5, 6 o'clock tonight. Should be soarable. Well, SkySight say, well, similar sort of thing, really. That's depths of thermals at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They're sort of talking about 1,600, 1,700 meters around the Lasham area. Further north, 1,500 meters, 4,500 to 5,000 feet. So I think perhaps a little bit more realistic in terms of what SkySight are thinking. And then in the afternoon, they're suggesting late afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock, 1,700 meters and 5,000 feet. Yeah, maybe. I really, really would like to see an actual ascent, just to see what kind of inversion we've got at around that height, because that may well be the factor. Cloud amounts from SkySight, so cloud base, late afternoon, nothing in here. Talking about cumulus, perhaps north of Oxford. And the potential for small amounts of cumulus, perhaps to the east of us and up in towards East Anglia. Potential flight distance, anywhere up to the northwest and to the northeast, really. Top Meteo were the same, 400 to 500 K for 18 meter and open class gliders. And this looks about the same, anywhere between 350 and 500 meters, 500 kilometers. Should be about right. Okay, so another nice day, blue, chance of cumulus further north later on in the day by the looks of it. should be good for a couple of 100k. Probably getting going 11:30, 12 o'clock at the earliest. Airspace wise, a few things of note. Run through those. Locally to Lasham, really nothing going on. We've no time that we're busy today. Middle Wallop had winch launching taking place at the weekends of the Portsmouth Naval Gliding Club there. Just paragliding number 19. And then looking further north, don't overfly Gatcombe Park with military aircraft, so nothing to worry about. Number 21. Dunstable Regionals taking place, and number 23 is a fly past at Bletchley, 13:30 to 14:15 local time. Then you move on. Old Warden tucked in here. Basically, there's various bits of airspace, restricted airspace, but their activity is from 9 o'clock this morning until 1900 hours, with a restricted airspace from 1 o'clock to 3 nautical miles. And at times during there's parachuting between 12 and 1400 hours. So basically, give it a 3 mile avoid, folks. Just odd fly pasts here. Fly past at Market Harborough, 13:15 to 1400, and Leicester Aerodrome have an air display all day. Birmingham airspace, again, just the little stubs have been activated down to the ground and a little bit sticking out. The AIC that you've probably seen several times before is still relevant today. Okay, that's about it in this area, folks. So not really a lot going on. In terms of operation, I gather the grid's already set up on 27, so it looks like the right direction. And we'll get you launched when we think it's soarable and goable. And hopefully you'll have a good flying day. And just stay safe, folks.